Hello, investors, and welcome back. Let's talk about SNDL. It's been about a week since I talked about this, and I want to go through my perspective of what I highlighted in the last earnings call that was covered. I want to talk about legislation that potentially what could happen, the catalysts, if any, that are coming up for this, and then we need to talk about the reverse stock split, which could be on or about July 15th. I want to tell you why I picked that date, and let's get straight into it. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the thumbs up button to the 38 people that gave me a thumbs up on the last SNDL video. I really appreciate it. Now, the last time I did a video, I talked about how from a technical perspective, this was oversold. And I was looking back here at the last time this was oversold on January 24th. So here it was oversold on May 10th on the 4-hour chart. On the daily chart, it showed oversold on May 12th. So right here, I was like, I think we are at peak fear. I think we have good news. We've only got 2 days until we have an earnings coming up. I wanted to make sure that you knew that this was an opportunity to take it if you wanted to take it. And if you were looking to exit your position, just wait a day or two more because people were tapped out in this area right here. This has been painful. So you either once you knew that this was going to be postponed, you set that stop loss and you knew there was a blackout period. You were like, look, I'm not coming back in until there's peak fear. This was your opportunity to take that 20% gain. And it wasn't that generous, but the entire market has really just been getting pummeled lately. Now you can see this volume spike here. We had a volume spike back here and a volume spike here. And you can see that contributes to these spikes. Now, in the in-between, when the volume starts to die down, you could see as it's starting to do now, we get downward pressure and things are not looking good from a macroeconomic standpoint. I mean, there's just bad news coming out consistently. The Fed is going to offload the balance sheet in June. I mean, this company is going to be reverse stock splitting. I mean, that's Zach pretty much announced this in not this last earnings call that just happened, but the one previous to this. And even though there hasn't been an official announcement, he might as well have. But let's take a look at the earnings call transcript because I want to show you some things that have me concerned. I don't know that this went all that well. All right, I'm going to go through this assuming that everyone's listened to the Q1 2022 earnings call. And I wanted to talk about a few things that really stood out to me. Number one, the acquisition having occurred and the guidance that we were expecting had no impact on the share price. It looks like analysts actually need to see numbers down on paper in Q2. There is so much manipulation happening. I mean, how does this not give us some kind of bump in the share price? This was just pretty surprising that there was not a positive response on gross margin improvement or operations, higher margin, higher quality. I mean, Zach was pretty excited about matching this up against anyone in the market. And I think I know why the market didn't respond positively. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. Now, e-commerce, direct-to-consumer strategies, private label, meaning they can take their product, put it in a can, and then anybody can act like it's their own, put their own brand on it. So private label opportunities there that they're looking into. And it looks like they're going to have a get-together in June for their Circle event. And I don't know if this is a catalyst where there will be some e-commerce and direct consumer strategies that come out of this that we get notified about. But one thing that we can celebrate is this Nova Value Buds banner that has been doing extremely well. And if you listen to their call, they have room to grow. They plan on opening more stores. I believe it was 9 to 12. I did a video on this previously. And what I didn't hear about in this call was the growth for Spirit Leaf. So I'm not sure what's happening there with that. And I would assume that the last thing that Zach said was he's not looking to aggressively grow that portion of the business. Now, this investment portion was not impressive to me. Now, 17.7 million on marketable securities, this was an investment loss. So these little numbers here, do not get carried away by looking at $1 billion or whatever they try and put on a slide. You want to know what the take home was from investment. So they went to explain this, and an analyst asked in the Q&A portion about Village Farms International. I thought that was really interesting. I believe this is ticker symbol VFF. You should watch this one. Given rising interest rates, geopolitical turmoil, the industry oversupply, price compression, saturation in the market, and equity valuations having been under extreme pressure. I mean, this is all right. I mean, this is all bad news, right? But given the growth perspective of this stock, right, you want to put your money into a stock that you believe is going to grow because you want your money to grow. None of this is good news. And in the call is not going to sound great for the Canadian market, who is trying to stabilize, to dwindle down, and it looks like it's vastly going to look different over the next 12 to 24 months. So there's more things that have to happen for this sector to really slow down. I mean, slowing down's not good for this to wind down, but they did talk about their balance sheet, and they did some slides that talked positively about their balance sheet, but I think they were skewed to make the company look a little better, because for 2021, they acted like they had Alcana and they didn't yet when they were doing their comparison, but I'll show you that in just a moment. So I don't like manipulation of figures to get people excited falsely. So hopefully you're able to see through that. Now, the share repurchase program, this was really interesting, that Sundial to sell put options to enhance this program. Now, this is very interesting section, and in the comments below, I'd like to hear what you have to say about this. Now, of course, if the company recently sought approval from Alberta and Ontario Securities Commission to enable Sundial to sell put options to enhance this program talking about the share repurchase program. So this is really interesting, and obviously this will all be public knowledge, and it looks like they have recently sought approval, absolutely legal, but puts are basically betting against and absorbing those shares if you're forced to buy them. So let's see what happens there. I thought that was really interesting. Now, net revenue for the first quarter, 17.6 million, including 1 day of the Alcana, 78% over the first quarter of 2021. Had an acquisition. See, they kept trying to give us guidance here, which I thought was really interesting, that there's no positive momentum. So we're going to have to wait for that payday. Our gross margin improvement, 3.4 million for the first quarter. That's what we're putting away. I mean, it's a small number. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's just a small number. Gross margin for the first quarter of 2022 was negative 0.2 million. Sundial's progress in the supply chain and cost optimization despite price compression and lower revenue. So, I mean, right here, Sundial's progress, but despite price compression and lower revenue. So they're telling you, I mean, they do have lower revenue than expected. They've got to start hitting their targets. And as long as you're investing in a business that can't hit their revenue targets, I mean, you're going to see price react the way that we're seeing it react now. Now, Sundial has terminated a sales agreement between Sundial and Sun 8 Holdings for 3.1 million in cash and 2.9 million of Sundial shares. Hopefully those get absorbed. So, I mean, that would be great. And Nova, the results for the first quarter, gross revenue, 49.8 million. And then we have this 18.8% of sales. Our gross margins aren't all that great. I mean, 18% of sales. I mean, we hope that we could do better than that in the future. Now, the market remains volatile, too much low quality product in geographic pockets of high retail saturation. So there is a lot out there in the black market. Don't forget about that. That's why these inhalables, gummies, and everything else have done so well, because you just can't grow those. Now, industry declines, most notably in the province of Quebec, as January and February industry sales in the province declined about 3%. I mean, we're just hearing this decline. I mean, they have to get market share. And the shopper insights. We look forward to sharing some of these important capabilities initiatives through advanced analytics and insights in the upcoming Circle event next month. That's what I was talking about above, that there is the potential that hopefully something will come out of this that could be a catalyst for those of you that are still in this. Now, in the Q&A portion, This whole section right here was really interesting to me, and I would say to pay attention to Village as a potential business that could be consumed by someone else. So this one might be one that you want to start putting on your watch list and look for opportunities to add some if you are interested in a business that has capabilities, unique manufacturing and process capabilities, that very well run upstream cultivator, extremely attractive cash cost of cultivation in their British Columbia operations. So again, we expect further consolidation in the industry. The timing is sometimes difficult to plan. Anyway, long story short, Village Farms. I would keep that one on your watch list. Now, there's this article that came out by American Banker on May 15th. I know that this is just a little bit older, but there was several things mentioned in here, different bills, opportunities that this could potentially pass through, and something that I didn't realize. Maybe you did know, let me know in the comments below, but I'm just scrolling through here to show you that there's a number of bills that this could be added to pass through. And in 2020, the 116th Congress enacted just 28 bills out of more than 5,000 introduced by law. So basically what this article is saying, that there's a number of bills that this could be coupled with, and it looks like this is a strategic fit for the Safe Banking Act to fit in one of these different bills that's mentioned in this article. So I thought it was really interesting to know, and we do know that in August, there may be another push with the timing of the next earnings coming right around that same point. But I believe that this is all after August 8th, which is the deadline, and I believe around July 15th is when we will see a reverse stock split announcement. So I just want to keep reiterating that I believe that is the date, that it'll be sometime in July. They're not going to wait till the last minute to do a reverse stock split. And I believe it'll be a 20-to-1 on 40 cents. That's going to be my guess. And obviously, don't have a crystal ball. I don't know that, but they're going to want this up around $8. They're not going to want this to sink back down and become an issue that they'll have to deal with again. So I believe minimal, this will be a 1-to-20 reverse stock split. I mean, when you've got a 1.1 billion market cap with 2.5 billion shares outstanding with a 2.3 billion float, I mean, this is, I mean, you just have to have at least 200 million for this to even move, and that's why you're not seeing anything besides a downward movement in the price, and it's not moving much at all. Now, we do have this institutional transactions that have happened, and institutions are coming and buying it, and I would believe the short ratio is the lowest that we've probably seen it. So there's no potential short squeeze. It's just flat. It's going sideways, and it's staying really low at this price. And a reverse stock split, even though we've got July until something like that happens, with seeing the indices recover like they did today, and it didn't even move this price a bit, it just leaves me concerned with that dark pull action. Now, what are other people saying as far as analysts? Now, Motley Fool did an article that I kind of appreciated. It had 3 red flags, or 2 red flags and 1 green flag, or something like that. Sundial struggling to increase its sale of its high-value flower products, and then its investment in the Sunstream Bancorp is also struggling. So we know that they have to get market share. This isn't working, and they've acquired Alcana, which has been a business operating. Was this a failed liquor business? I want to take a look at that. So let's go straight into these slides with Sundial Corp. They've got their revenue numbers estimate for 2022 spelled out right here. This is the estimate. This is the actual column for 2021. And if you'll notice something here, we know we only made about $56 million in 2021, and our cost was $63 million. So this is a fudged number, and down here it talks about how Alcana was added to this number to make it look better. So right here, what I'm looking at is year over year from 2021 to 2022, estimated, not actual, but estimated, 711. So why are we going down, an estimate going down? We're projecting that we're going to do worse this year. So, I mean, I expect to see that bump for Q2, but I don't like what this number's saying on this slide. Did they give it away? Did they tell us something here that their estimates aren't going to be that great? I mean, even though they're doing a comparison, but look at this. I mean, this is a number they did themselves. So I'm taking a look at that. The next thing that I'm looking at is I'm keeping my eye on analysts and what they're doing with their price. And as far as what we just accomplished on the high estimate side, does it even compare to what analysts are predicting? So if we go back and look, I want you to pay attention to what we just accomplished. If they said we would have accomplished this dollar figure, I believe it was in this range. It was around 166. If we would have taken credit, pay attention to that, because you want to compare it to what the analysts have here as far as this monstrous increase in price, right? So we know we captured that one day, but I would keep that in perspective. Is that high? Is that low? And then the next thing I would look at is January 2023, or even July. The calls, you can see they're out to $7. And if you go in here and you look at July, they've pushed this out to $5. Somewhere around this time frame is when they're going to do that reverse stock split. This is just a guess. I believe it's going to be right around that time frame. Now, if we look at what's happening with these active positions, holders, new positions 3129, there's really nothing happening here from an institutional standpoint. It looks like it's basically zeroing out. I mean, we've got 31 new holders, but it's only 3.3 million in shares, and then people that sold out of their position, 4.5. So we've got a little bit more people selling out of their position than holding. And then the dark pool action, this is the one that really concerns me. This was 76.31% daily exchange, off exchange dark pool action. The last 30 days, over 70%, 70.88% trading that we have no visibility on. That's what really concerns me, that millions and millions of this volume, 41 million volume of this is trading, just trying to control the price. And they know what they're doing. They know exactly where they want to keep this price. And we don't have any control over it right now. Those are my thoughts. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave the video a big thumbs up. I hope you found something useful. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video.